Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Recha, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to elect. Today we're going to get into 1 Samuel, the 25th chapter. A quick recap of the 24th chapter. David had spared Saul's life when he was in the cave, attending nature's call. And he refused to annoy. He told Saul he refused to harm him because he was one of the Lord's anointed. And then you have Saul admitting to David's righteousness and acknowledges him as the future king. And that's about it. So this is the book of 1 Samuel 25, chapter 25 and 1. Slacky, give me 1 second. So this is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 25 and 1, and it reads, And Samuel died, and all the Israelites were gathered together and lamented him, and buried him in the house of Ramah. And David arose and went down to the wilderness of Paran, also known as the wilderness of Maon. So Samuel dies, and then all of Israel laments him and buries him at Ramah. And verse 2, And there was a man at Maon, whose possessions were in Carmel, and the man was very great, and he had 3,000 sheep, and 1,000 goats, and he was shearing his sheep in Carmel. Yeah, he definitely had to have helpers, because 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. Sheep shearing is basically when you shave off the sheep's and goat's fur, because if you don't, it can cause a whole bunch of health problems. Let me see, sheep shearing. Oh, it's a yearly process. Sheep shearing is the yearly process of removing the sheep's woolly fleece using electric clippers, which prevents wool from. Oh, they didn't. I don't think they used electric clippers back then. They had some alternative uses, which prevents wool from becoming heavy and obstructing the animal's vision, helps maintain flock health, and use a valuable renewable fiber for various products. Overgrown wool can become so heavy that it weighs down the sheep, obstructs their vision, aka wool blindness, and can lead to overheating, especially in warmer weather. Yeah, die of heat stroke and stuff. I see. Regular shearing helps prevent skin issues and makes it easier for farmers to spot potential problems, maintaining the overall health of the flock. I see. Yeah, so it had to be done yearly. If left alone, just like donkeys' hooves and horses' hooves, if you don't clip them, then if they get overgrown, it can cause a whole bunch of problems. 3,000, so 4,000 animals, damn. Verse 3. Now the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife Abigail, and she was a woman of good understanding, and of a beautiful countenance. Countenance basically means the appearance. So she was very beautiful. But the man was churlish and evil in his doings, and he was of the house of Caleb. Churlish means harsh, I believe. Let's find out. Hard, difficult, severe, fierce, intense, stubborn, stiff neck, there we go. Cruel, very cruel. Got you. So all the things he did was very cruel and evil. Interesting. Verse 4, And David heard in the wilderness that Nabal did shear his sheep, And David sent out 10 young men, and David said unto the young men, Get you up to Carmel, and go to Nabal, and greet him in my name. And thus shall ye say to him that liveth in prosperity, Peace be both to thee, and peace be to thine house, and peace be unto all that thou hast. And now I have heard that thou hast shearers. Now thy shepherds which were with us, we heard them not, neither was there aught missing unto them all the while they were in Carmel. So some of Nabal's shepherds, had stayed with David, and David and his men, his men never hurt them, or took anything from them. Ask thy young men, and they will show thee. Wherefore let the young men find favor in thine eyes. For we come in a good day. Give, I pray thee, whatsoever cometh in thine hand unto thy servants, and to thy son David. So David just wants to ask for something a little bit, something small. And he's doing it politely, And he's reminding Nabal that he had protected his shepherds. So if you can kindly, give us some provisions, just a little something. And when David's young men came, they spake to Nabal according to all those words the name of David, and they ceased. And Nabal answered David's servants and said, Who is David? And who is the son of Jesse? There be many servants nowadays that break away every man from his master. So, shall I then take my bread and my water and my flesh that I have killed for my shearers, and give it unto men whom I know not whence they be? Yes, as you can see, Nabal here gave a very rude reply. David came in a polite, kind manner, and then you have Nabal over here just straight up saying no. But he didn't straight up say no. He had to say it in a rude way. And then he ended up calling David a runaway servant. Like, this nigga has the audacity, bro. Unbelievable. So David's young men turned their way and went again, and came and told him all those things. So David's men went back and told David what Nabal had said. And David said unto his men, Gird ye every man his sword. And they girded on every man his sword. And David also girded on his sword. And there went up after David about 400 men, and 200 abode by the stuff. So, David told his men, hey, put your stuff on. So 400 went with him, and then 200 stayed by their equipment to guard. But one of the young men told Abigail, Nabal's wife, saying, Behold, David sent messengers out of the wilderness to salute our master. He railed on them. On this NLT, meanwhile, one of Nabal's servants went to Abigail and told her, David sent messengers from the wilderness to greet our master, but he screamed insults at us. So railed. So could railed mean insults? Let me see. To scream, to shriek, to dart greedily, swoop upon, rush upon. Scream, scold. Okay. Verse 15. But the men were very good unto us, and we were not hurt. Oh, hold up. Okay, so so this is one of the shepherds that was with David and his men, that David and his men were protecting. They went and told Abigail, Nabal's wife, what was going on. Verse 15. But the men were very good unto us, and we were not hurt, neither missed we anything, as long as we were conversing with them when we were in the fields. So The shepherds that was with David, Nabal's shepherds that was with David, I was telling Abigail that, yo, we were good when we were with them. No harm came to us. Nothing was taken from us. We were good the entire time. Verse 16, they were a wall unto us both by night and day. All the while we were with them, keeping the shit. Damn, yo, David and his men out here protecting the ball of shepherds. And then you got this demon. Man, he needs to be dealt with. Now therefore know and consider what thou wilt do. For evil is determined against our master, and against all his house. For he is such a son of Belial. Belial means confusion. And that a man cannot speak to him. And earlier before, we read that Abigail was a woman of good understanding. Or NLT says it, she was a sensible woman, So let's see what she did. Verse 18, then Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves and 2 bottles of wine and 5 sheep ready dressed and 5 measures of parched corn and 100 clusters of raisins and 200 cakes of figs and laid them on asses. Damn, that's a lot. Yo, and David out here just asking for a little bit. Look what Abigail packed. Damn. And she said unto her servants, go on before me. Okay, they did have servants, yeah. Oh yeah, they were rich, so yeah, they were wealthy. And she said unto her servants, go on before me. Behold, I will come after you. But she told not her husband Nabal, which was very smart, because if she did, she would have gotten cooked. And none of that would have been given to David, And it was so, as she rode on the ass, that she came down by the covert of the hill. And behold, David and his men came down against her, and she met them. Now David had surely in vain. Now David had said, surely in vain have I kept all that this fellow hath in the wilderness, so that nothing was missed of all that pertaineth unto him, and he hath requited me evil for good. Yo, so David right here is pissed. Because, he kept his shepherds good and safe. And he's out here asking for something little. And them boys like, nah, nigga, nah, you ain't getting shit. That's wicked, bro. So and more also do God unto the enemies of David, if I leave all that pertaineth to him by morning light, any that pisseth against the wall. And may God strike me and kill me, if even one man of his household is still alive tomorrow morning. Oh, damn. So David wants to kill them all, literally. Kill every single one of them. Verse 23. And when David saw, and when Abigail saw David, she hasted and lighted. Okay, wait, hold up. Okay, verse 23. And when Abigail saw David, she hasted and lighted off the ass and fell before David on her face and bowed herself to the ground. So she as soon as she saw David, she got off her donkey quick, and bowed before David, and fell at his feet and said, upon me, my Lord, upon me let this iniquity be, and let thine handmaid, I pray thee, speak in thine audience, and hear the words of thine handmaid. So here she's just asking David to listen to what she has to say. And she's putting all the blame on her. Let the blame fall on her. Let not my Lord, I pray thee, regard this man of Belial, even Nabal, for as his name is, so is he. Nabal is his name, and folly is with him. But I, thine handmaid, saw not the young men of my Lord, whom thou didst send. So she's saying, okay, let's look into 2 words real quick. So, look at Belial. Okay, so Salakia doesn't mean confusion. It means worthless, good for nothing, unprofitable, wicked. Wicked. Belial means wicked. So if you're a son of Belial, you're basically wicked. Okay, that makes sense. Evil, ungodly. Because earlier it said that he was very shrewd and evil in all his doings. Okay. Okay, so that's the son of Belial. And let's look at his name, Nabal. Nabal, fool. That's why Abigail is saying, so, for as his name is, so is he. So Nabal means fool. So that makes him a fool. Because he is a fool. Look at all the shit he's doing. And Abigail never saw the young man that David had sent. Verse 26, Now therefore, my Lord, as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, seeing the Lord hath withholden thee from coming to shed blood, and from avenging thyself with thine own hand, now let thine enemies, and they that seek evil to my Lord, be as Nabal. Now this blessing which thine handmaid hath brought unto my Lord, let it even be given unto the young men that follow my Lord. This is the NLT version of verse 26 and 27. Now, my Lord, as surely as the Lord lives, and you yourself live, since the Lord has kept you from murdering and taking vengeance into your own hands, let all your enemies and those who try to harm you be as cursed as Nabal is. And here is the present that I, your servant, have brought to you and your young men. Oh, okay. So Abigail knows that her being there was the Lord stopping David for taking matters into his own hands. And then she gives them what she had bought, all the food and provisions for David and his men. Verse 28, I pray thee, forgive the trespass of thine handmaid, for the Lord will certainly make my Lord a sure house, because my Lord fighteth the battles of the Lord, and evil hath not been found in thee all thy days. Now, what she know about David? Hold up. Okay. Yet a man is risen to pursue thee, and to seek thy soul. Oh. But the soul of my Lord shall be bound in the bundle of life with the Lord thy power. And the souls of thine enemies, them shall he sling out, as out of the middle of a sling. So she's basically saying that when people are chasing after him to kill him, he's going to be safe, you know. The Lord has you. The Lord got you. It shall come to pass when the Lord shall have done to my Lord. And it shall come to pass when the Lord shall have done to my Lord according to all the good that he hath spoken concerning thee, and shall have appointed thee ruler all over Israel. So she's basically saying that the Lord is going to make David king. Verse 31. That this shall be no grief unto thee, no offense of heart unto my Lord, either that thou hast shed blood causeless, or that my Lord hath avenged himself. But when the Lord shall have dealt with my Lord, then remember thine handmaid. Oh shit. Okay. What you trying to say? Oh shit. Okay, this is the NOT of verse 31. Don't let this be your blemish on your record. Then your conscience won't have to bear this staggering burden of needless bloodshed and vengeance. And when the Lord has done these great things for you, please remember me, your servant. So she didn't want, or ultimately the Lord didn't want David to stay in his record. Okay. Verse 32, and David said to Abigail, Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, which sent thee this day to meet me. And blessed be thy advice, and blessed be thou, which hast kept me this day from coming to shed blood, and from avenging myself with my own hands. The Lord stopped David from taking vengeance into his own hands. And he thanks Abigail for that. For in very deed, as the Lord God of Israel liveth, which have kept me back from hurting thee, except thou hadst hasted, thou hadst hasted and come to meet me, surely there had not been left unto Nabal by the morning light any that pisseth against the wall. Okay. Yeah, hold up. Yeah, so David's basically saying if she never hasted to meet David, and David and his men would have killed every single one of them, every single man. Verse 35. So David received of her hand that which she had brought him, and said unto her, Go up in peace to thy house. See, I have hearkened to thy voice, and accepted thy person. And Abigail came to Nabal, and behold, he held a feast in his house, like the feast of a king. And Nabal's heart was merry within him, for he was very drunken. Wherefore she told him nothing, less or more, until the morning light. But it came to pass in the morning, when the wine was gone out of Nabal, and his wife had told him these things, that his heart died within, and he became as a stone. Oh, snap! Yo, the most high. Yo. And it came to pass about 10 days after that the Lord smote Nabal, and he died. Damn. So after he finished having his feast like a king, and he got drunk, the next day, Abigail told Nabal what she did. And because of that, he had a stroke, and the Lord paralyzed him. And he laid on his bed like a stone. Damn, he couldn't move. Damn. 10 days later, the Lord struck him and died. Damn. Hey, that's what you get, you know? You get what you get, you don't get upset. Verse 39. And when David heard that Nabal was dead, he said, Blessed be the Lord that hath pleaded the cause of my reproach from the hand of Nabal, and hath kept his servant from evil. For the Lord hath returned the wickedness of Nabal upon his own head. And David sent and communed with Abigail to take her to him to wife. And when the servants of David were come to Abigail to Carmel, they spake unto her, saying, David sent us unto thee to take thee to him to wife. And she arose, and she bowed herself on her face to the earth, and said, Behold, let thine handmaid be a servant to wash the feet of the servants of my lord. And Abigail hasted, and arose and rode upon an ass with 5 damsels of hers that went after her, and she went after the messengers of David, and became his wife. David also took Ahinoam of Jezreel, and they were also both of them his wives. But Saul had given Michal, his daughter David's wife, to Phalti, the son of Laish, which was in Galim. Okay, so over here, the Lord basically took vengeance for David. Everything the Lord does is righteous. Nabal is a very wicked man, but Nabal didn't do anything wicked to David to cause him to be put to death. So the Lord stopped David from killing him. and the Lord killed him himself, basically. And then after that, you have David and Abigail get married, and David also takes Ahinoam as wife also. And then you have Saul out here being a demon, and gives David's wife Michal to another man. Like, bro, what? So that's the end of 1 Samuel 25th chapter. A quick summary. I just said a part of it, but a quick summary. After Samuel's death, David met Nabal, who was like wealthy. Oh, yeah. He met Nabal, and he was very wealthy. But because of his name as well, he was very foolish. And he's out here being rude for David when David had protected his shepherds. So David got mad. He was wroth with anger. And so David was preparing to kill Nabal and all his men. But Abigail, who was was of a good understanding, she basically met them halfway and gave gifts and apologized to David. And ultimately, the Lord had to prevent David from committing a sin. And then, shortly after that, Nabal got paralyzed, and the Most High judged him 10 days later. And then David then marries Abigail and Ahinoam, and then you have Saul out here being a demon and gives David's first wife to another man. So yeah, that's about it. So yeah, hoping that was edifying. Slaka, that was a bit long. Oh, hold up. There was a precept I wanted to bring. I think it's in 1 Thessalonians. I know I have it saved somewhere. No, I think in the second, to be honest. Oh. No, it's not this. There we go. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 6. And it reads, "Seeing it is a righteous thing with God to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you." So basically, the Lord interceded on David's behalf, because Nabal was already wicked. So and Nabal just said no to David, but in a rude way. There was no reason for David to go and kill him because of that. But David was angry, and the Lord understood that. And the Lord also understood that David's intentions were good, and what he did was good when he protected Nabal's shepherds. So David's out here just asking for a little something for him and his men, and Nabal out here being rude and shit. So the Most High literally recompensed tribulation to Nabal because he troubled David. Most High was not pleased with that at all. So yeah, that's about it. Hoping that was edifying. With that, I want to say shalom.